Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez. Every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern time. We're here to talk about all things professional wrestling. Hope you guys endured another grueling week. I know it is hard. It is hard, man. Oh, God. Last Saturday, actually, I sprained my ankle trying to do a somersault off of a diving board, hanging out with my friends going swimming. Not the coolest thing to do, ladies and gentlemen. Definitely when you see those WWE things that says "Don't try this at home," it means don't try this at home. I was trying to hit a freaking, oh my God, like a Jeff Hardy swanton bomb, but I ended up really badly spraining my ankle. So this week has not been the best. Hopefully for you guys, it's been totally awesome, 1,010%. So we are here. We made it. It's Friday. Hope you guys are opening up your favorite beverages, having your favorite snacks, spending time with your favorite people. Me, of course. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, it'd be cool if I was. Give me a shout out from one of your favorite people. I'm just kidding. Thank you so much for tuning in to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. We have a lot of show for you today. We're going to start off with our WWE Smackdown preview. And then we're going to move on to my Thursday night wrestling review, Ring of Honor, TNA Impact. Actually, today is Death Before Dishonor. Can't wait to find out the results and look up some highlights of that. And then we're going to move to our third segment. We're going to talk about Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar, the ball is in his court. Triple H is ready for him to come back, ready for him to sign another WWE contract. So we're going to get into that. Then our fourth segment, we're going to get into some hot seat cool beans, Death Before Dishonor, style. We're going to talk about some superstars that are competing at the pay-per-view. I'm going to let you know if the stove under them is if it's hot, that means they need to, this pay-per-view is pretty important to them. This match will ultimately propel their career. Or if it's cool, like, you know what, win, lose, draw, like where they're at right now seems like it's exactly where they need to be. So we're going to talk about that in our fifth and final segment, which I do every Friday. Just want to leave you guys with some wrestling news to kind of ponder over the weekend, to think about, if you ever find yourself in a situation where you're talking with another wrestling fan, you're like, damn, what should I bring up? I kind of want to keep the conversation going. I want to seem like I know my shiz. Be like, oh yeah, there was that weird guy on the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast. We gave me some stuff to talk about. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not weird. I promise. So we're going to talk about some of the major news inside the sports entertainment industry in terms of professional wrestling. But before we do any of that, I want to remind you guys to use the tips and donations link at gsmcpodcast.net. Shoot me your comments, questions, and concerns. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Your projected storylines. Who you think is going to win at SummerSlam? Who do you think is going to win tonight on Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor? Bring up absolutely anything about professional wrestling. Give me a shout out of where you're listening from. 1,010%. Anything is greatly appreciated. Remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Leave a kind remark here at the GSMC Sports Network. We do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity. 1,010% of the way. So make sure you subscribe and follow the show. Also, the GSMC Sports Network. It's gonna be great. I kind of like having this show. Kind of being like a safe haven for wrestling fans to come together and just share opinions. Nobody really taking anything too seriously. Not a lot of negative Nancy's around here, or Debbie Downers, or take things too seriously, Sean's. But just kidding, no. Kind of want to, anything, absolutely anything. Feel free. Be comfortable. Don't be shy. Whatever you say, I'm pretty sure is going to be 1,010% amazing. So let's go ahead and dig on into our first segment. After that being said, the link is at the GSMC podcast. So it's Friday. Friday, one of my favorite days of the week, mostly because it is a Friday. It's that it's okay to have a couple beers, kind of night. Also, it's SmackDown. We're gonna watch some Friday Night Smackdown tonight. We also have Rampage. We have the Royal Rampage that's gonna be that's happening as well. Make so a lot of wrestling to watch. It's gonna be awesome. So this show was actually pre-taped. This show was pre-taped on the 19th in the CHI Health Center in Omaha, Nebraska. So, let's go ahead and dig on into it. First and foremost, we have LA Knight taking on Santos Escobar. Something that I've always kind of, liked about the LA Knight is just that he's so he can turn like a match that people are like, oh, that's a low card match, that's a mid card match. It absolutely becomes the talk of the town. It comes like, I'm looking forward to this match, mostly because of, the LA Knight. Santos Escobar is an extremely talented superstar, the leader of the, Legado del Fantasma, which I feel like should, they recently won a tag team match. So, they have a little bit of momentum, not too much. Santos Escobar needs to kind of reestablish himself. Um, I believe he was, no, that was El Idolo, my bad. Still going to have a lot of, probably a lot of drama happening between Andrade and also Legado del Fantasma. So there's that to, take in consideration. Both very, very great superstars. The LA Knight's right there, just about right there. He's taking on Logan Paul for the WWE United States Championship. So there's no doubt in my mind that he's more than formidable enough to hold open like a belt or anything like that. Like he's one of those few superstars, one of those few talents that you can absolutely put him anywhere, and he kind of he just fits so perfectly. And this match is highly the Emperor of Lucha Libre. Especially this is the there's two more episodes of SmackDown before this, so it's kind of like a put up or shut up within these next couple of weeks. So I want to see Legado del Fantasma kind of, because they have talented superstars. Angel Garza, Humberto Carrillo, also Santos Escobar. Like these guys are talented individuals. These guys are some dudes, bro. These guys got some dogs in them. So there's no doubt in my mind that I feel like Triple H, Paul Levesque is going to find the right place, going to find the right storyline to ultimately, kind of show their potential, show their talent, and most importantly, showcase just their skills and how they're, 1,010% should be in the WWE's main card and stuff like that. Next, we have Bayley, the WWE Women's Champion, teaming up with Michin. Michin's been getting a lot of fights lately. Like she recently had a street fight against Jada Parker on NXT, and like now she's messing with Nia Jax and Mrs. Money in the Bank, Tiffany Stratton. So it's kind of crazy. Michin, sticking her nose into somebody else's business. I'm just kidding. No, of course, one of the group members of the OC. Yeah, should be pretty awesome. They're teaming up. They're going to take on Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton, of course. Recently, they've kind of formed an unlikely alliance. I can't wait for this to kind of blow up. I know this is going to blow up eventually. I know eventually Tiffany Stratton's going to cash in that money in the bank. And when it happens, Nia Jax is not going to be a happy camper. I give you that 1,010%. Last week on WWE Smackdown, you saw Tiffany Stratton. You saw her briefcase being defiled, absolutely destroyed by the WWE Women's Champion Bayley. So, I still think she's going to cash it in. I still think she's going to cash it in at SummerSlam. It would make the most sense because, like I said before, maybe mimicking a little bit of what happens with the men's Money in the Bank briefcase. I got a chat from my man Diggs BTW one. Hey, what's up? What's up, my man? Is that a Detroit Lions? No, I don't think that is. Or maybe it is. I don't know. Hey, what's up, man? Hope you're doing well on your Friday night. Hope you all enjoying yourself, hanging back, kicking back, relaxing, chilling, doing whatever you do that helps you chill after a long week of just Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So happy to see you tuning in. But yeah, so we have the role model. Obviously, she's favored in this match, helping me chin. And like what I was talking about before, I feel like, I think the WWE men's briefcase was ultimately, it was wasted. It was wasted 1,010%. Rikishi, he talked about his son Jey Uso recently being held down by the WWE, and 1,010%, like he is absolutely correct. I don't know why WWE's waiting so long to pull the trigger on Jay main event Jey Uso. But it would be so awesome. It would have been just so perfect for him to win that briefcase, cash it in, score maybe cash it in on his former WWE tag team partner and champion partner Cody Rhodes. That would have been kind of crazy. Maybe he wins the WWE championship. Solo Sikoa tries to get it from him. Kind of being that the tribal chief in his own way would have been a pretty awesome storyline in my opinion. I think that would have been cool. But there's so many different ways you could have held that Money in the Bank briefcase. And but I ultimately think that they got rid of it because of Triple H, WWE creative in terms of SmackDown. They're planning for something. They're planning for something. They want things kind of lined up along the way. They don't really want anybody lingering with the Money in the Bank briefcase to kind of mess it all up. So they're planning for the future, and the future is definitely WrestleMania. So obviously, it is a lot easier not having to have the person with the Money in the Bank, because if you set them up to fail, essentially they're like, oh yeah, he'll cash it, but he'll just not be successful. It'll hurt the superstar. It'll hurt their worthy, their credibility and stuff like that. So maybe that's the reason why they didn't want to put it on Jey Uso, because they had plans for Damian Priest. They had plans for the WWE Undisputed Champion Cody Rhodes. And then for the women's, like, I think 1,010%. I love Bayley 1,010%. She's getting to that age where she's starting to put over superstars, kind of like what you saw with Damage Control, kind of like where you kind of see Natalia right now. But I don't know. Only time will tell. I feel like Tiffany Stratton will cash in it against Bayley. Maybe having Nia Jax kind of be that confidant, or maybe she absolutely screws over everyone, burns every bridge in her way, which is kind of the Tiffany Stratton kind of style. Like, I don't really care if you like me. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make money and also win championships and be one of the best WWE women's superstars of all time. So Tiffany Stratton, definitely, got to keep your eye on her. Next, we have a tag team gauntlet match. Oh, God, we have 6 teams. We have Pretty Deadly, the OC. We have the Street Profits, Legado del Fantasma, Apollo Crews teaming up with Baron Corbin. And, of course, you have Tama Tonga and Tangaloa, the Tongans, from the Bloodline. Oh, this is going to be huge. So it's a gauntlet match. I was going to check to see if it was an elimination match. So essentially, you need to last the whole entire gauntlet. I do not know who's going to start off first for a shot at the WWE Tag Team Champions DIY. I like DIY. I really hope that they don't lose the belts that quick. I think they've, ever since they made it up to the main WWE roster, they've both Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa's kind of did a little dirty. You know what I mean? Like bad bookings. They went back down to NXT. They're like, okay, we like these guys, but we have nothing for them, you know what I mean? And much like you saw with Keith Lee, much like you saw with Malachi Black and Lars Sullivan, and just people that were promoted from NXT and kind of put in a position like El Idolo, Andrade, all these great talented superstars, and this is the point where you're like, okay, what do we do with them next? You know what I mean? So it's going to be huge. I feel like this tag team match is definitely it is the main event. 6 tag teams. It's probably going to go on for more than 30 minutes. Obviously. I'm picking a winner, though. Oh, God. I tell you who I do not want to win. I don't want to see the Tongan twins win. I do not, I repeat, do not want to see Tama Tonga or Tungaloa win this match. I would be absolutely heartbroken, because it'd be like, all right, now they're going to, bring all the gold back to the Bloodline once again. Like, we've kind of seen this storyline before. Me, personally, I would like to see, the Street Profits would be pretty awesome. Pretty Deadly, no, to be honest. Apollo Crews and Baron Corbin, great superstars. I love the babyface turn to Baron Corbin, to be honest. I think he fits more perfectly within storylines. Legado del Fantasma, like I said before, they ultimately, they need to ride. They need to ride up to the top. And honestly, this gauntlet match, it's it's going to be a lot. We have the OC. So the only thing that does make sense, sadly, super sadly, is probably the Tongans winning this match and, taking on DIY. But, only Lord only knows what will happen. Obviously, you did see Jacob Fatu single-handedly take out DIY. So I don't know how much of a competition it's going to be. But, I got my fingers crossed. Hopefully you guys have your fingers crossed, too, for the Tongans not to win this gauntlet match, because that would be absolutely heartbroken. All right, moving on. So we have next our Thursday Night Wrestling review. We're going to talk about TNA Impact, also Ring of Honor, Honor Club. So, hey, do not touch that dial. Do not touch that button. We're going to be right back. So, hey, stay tuned.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I wanna wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit, I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant, I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits, I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip, you choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift. Oh,
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
All right, and we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern time, here to talk about all things professional wrestling, all the action inside and outside of the rings, all the rumors behind the curtains, superstar news, updates, injury statuses, whatever. We talk about it here on the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast. So make sure you subscribe to the show. Also subscribe to the GSMC Sports Network because we have a lot of other cool, badass podcasts to check out. So to kind of reflect on what we talked about, WWE Smackdown, preview that a little bit. Kind of a small card in terms of matches, but I figured, every single time I kind of do a little bit of research about what's going to happen on SmackDown. There's always like maybe two or even sometimes three matches that are like out of nowhere where, you have Blair Davenport fighting or maybe Naomi or that tag team gauntlet match is going to be it's going to be pretty awesome. It's going to be pretty great. Can't wait to see that. So before we move on to our next segment, I want to remind you guys to use the tips and donations link at the gsmcpodcast.net. Obviously, leave whatever you can. Most importantly, I'm interested in what you guys really have to say in terms of, the chat and all that. Just, shoot me some of your comments, your predictions, your questions, your concerns. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Here in professional wrestling, the best thing about, being able to connect with somebody is the kind of the ability to, or maybe should I say the inability to kind of come to a consensus. So there's always, talking conflicting ideologies about, hey, who's on your Mount Rushmore wrestling and why? Or, do you like this new young Bloodline storyline going on? Do you think Solo Sikoa is ready to hold a title? Do you think he has enough accountability and credibility to kind of, once when Roman does come back, to kind of, just to make the fight intense, make the fight, the build up? Because right now, if you have Roman Reigns come back, like easy, be like, oh, so let's go, like he's kind of a little bit, I'm just kidding, no, but no, like I don't know, I just shoot me your comments, questions, concerns here at the gsmcpodcast.net. Hit up that link, hit up the tips and donations link, and tell me how you feel. Tell me how you feel tonight. Tell me what you're doing this weekend. Hey, that's always welcome. All right, so we're going to talk about my Thursday night wrestling review. So let's talk about it. This is the final stop between today's Death Before Dishonor and pretty good one. Former MLW Tag Team Champion Al Nduka will make his promotional debut. He challenged John Cruz, and we had the interview with Lexi Nair and Queen Aminata. So the show started, of course, with Roderick Strong being a jerk, pinning Tomohiro Ishii from Collision last week, and then being confronted by Mark Briscoe. This kind of segued to a confrontation with the Mark Briscoe, where Mark Briscoe was kind of confronted Roderick Strong and told him that he might be Roderick Strong told Mark Briscoe that he might be Ring of Honor champion now, but he'll never be Mr. Ring of Honor. Roderick Strong and Mark Briscoe have been on the Ring of Honor. They've been around for such a long time. You got to respect it. Roderick Strong, he was there once when CM Punk was on Ring of Honor. He was there, I believe, when Cody Rhodes was on Ring of Honor, and I think AJ Styles. And then, Mark Briscoe, obviously, with his brother, Jay, obviously a pretty prestigious tag team competitors. And of course, he unfortunately had to make his way into singles wrestling because of the unfortunate passing of his brother. It's going to be great. It's going to be a great Death Before Dishonor. A lot of craziness, a lot of, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. So then we had Lexi Nair interviewed Matt Bennett and no Mike Bennett and Matt Taven. It's kind of crazy how both this starts with them. That's weird. So they were begging Tony Khan for a formidable tag team. It's the conglomeration. Tohiro Ishii, also Kyle O'Reilly. I, you know, they don't have the chemistry, I believe, just yet. They're two badass, sick dudes. Like these guys can go out there and go punch for punch, knuckle for knuckle, blow for blow. But like to beat a tag team as prestigious, as successful as this reign that you have with the Undisputed Kingdoms, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett, you kind of need something more than that. So I want them to lose so bad, but I don't know if things gonna go. It kind of reminds me of the system in TNA a little bit, but that's just how wrestling is. You have a really successful faction, kind of like when you saw the Undisputed Era on WWE NXT, and it was badass. Miss Adam Cole. I wonder when he's coming back. Would be interesting to see him coming back, today, but yeah, then we saw Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta, the Ring of Honor Strong Champion, defeat Lee Moriarty and Anthony Ogogo with Shane Taylor. So Yuta, he's actually set to face Moriarty tonight at Death Before Dishonor. So it's nice to see, kind of a little bit of a fun opening match. Shane Taylor did punch Yuta in the jaw, which was uncalled for, absolutely uncalled for an object, kind of lame. But no, my support 1,010% is behind the Blackpool Combat Club. Yeah, especially after hearing that John Moxley's going to take a step away from professional wrestling to deal with. I think he's dealing with an injury or whatever he's dealing with. Hopefully goes well. And then of course you have the American Dragon, Brian Danielson. Oh, I'm going to say that. I'm going to do that every single episode. I swear to you guys. Swear, man, I need to find a way to kind of, I'm just going to call him BD, Brian Danielson. I'm just kidding. Should be pretty, it was a great match. It was a fun opener. So next we see Lexi Nair was in the ring to introduce the challengers of the women's titles matches at Death Before Dishonor, obviously, Queen Amidala and Red Velvet going after MIT's Billy Stark, the Ring of Honor World Women's TV Champion, and of course, the goddess Athena, my goddess Athena. Oh, love Athena. She's great. The Ring of Honor Women's World Champion, who's been a champion, who has a historic reign going on. Probably one of the best reigns in title run history for men's, women's, tag team, and all across professional wrestling. So that's something that's I think is super damn cool. So, a pretty good interview. Obviously, Athena hobbled to the ring, kind of got held up by Lexi. Athena said Lexi did her best, but these two are uncultured to do an interview segment. Athena said ever since she beat the tar out of one of those two, there were nothing but tyrants and bullies. They called them trashy, just trash. That's a little mean. That's a little aggressive, to be honest. So I don't. Is she gonna have to eat her words tonight at Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor? Who knows? I love Athena. She's definitely one of the best professional wrestling in the women's division right now. Then we saw Gates of Agony defeat Angelico and Serpentico. Like I said before, we saw EJ Unduka defeat John Cruz, which was a good match. Johnny TV and Shane Taylor with Taya Valkyrie defeated Leo Rush and Ring of Honor TV champion Atlantis. That is not good. That is not good because you have these four individuals plus one more, I think it is, plus one more inside the ring tonight at Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor for that Ring of Honor World Television Champion. And, Atlantis, he was looking good, Atlantis Jr. Obviously dethroning Kyle Fletcher, who hasn't lost since 2022. Imagine 2002. Damn. 22-year reign. I'm just kidding. But no, it was it's something that he probably should have won. Obviously, kind of like when I say, and like what I always say in terms of professional wrestling, when you have triple threat matches, when you have fatal four ways, when you have fatal five ways, or like when you saw the TNA at Slammiversary, you had the six-way elimination match, means that they're, the champion's probably not going to be champion for so long anymore. So, kind of like that out, kind of like that excuse that they lost. So, yeah. Next, we saw Abaddon defeat Dulce Tormenta. We saw Commander with Action Andretti, Top Flight, and Fuego de Sol with Alex Abrahantes. Oh my God, I totally butchered that. Abrantes. The defeated the Iron Savages, Nick Camarado and Anthony Henry. I like Nick Camarado. I don't know why he doesn't have too much more, success on AEW, also Ring of Honor. But I don't know. It's kind of crazy. Some of these backstage, you had Queen Aminata and Red Velvet both vowed to win their matches. Obviously talking about Death Before Dishonor, and it's going to be pretty awesome. It's going to be pretty cool, pretty sick. So then we had you know, once again we have TNA Impact. We're going to dig on it. So let me pull up the notes. So all right. So the new TNA World Champion Nick Nemeth kicked off the show. Obviously, had no why is that happening with my phone right now? No, technology's supposed to help you, but it does not help you. So, the TNA World Champion Nick Nemeth started off the show, and then of course you saw Mustafa Ali as well. One of them had a good Slammiversary. Mustafa Ali finally lost the X Division Championship, which was kind of lingering over his head for a little bit there. I kind of knew something had to give. But Ali continued basically saying how like he was the greatest X Division champion of all time. His majestic music hits, and like he's just so full of himself. But that's what you love about Mustafa Ali. He called what happened at Slammiversary the biggest screw job in the history of wrestling. Of course, kind of hinting at the Montreal screw job with Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels because he brought in referee Earl Hebner and didn't really go his way, bro. I'm sorry, Mustafa Ali, but you're a loser, dude. You're a loser. And then, of course, the fans were chanting, "You deserve it. You deserve it." I thought it was pretty cool. A TNA World Champion once again, looking good, looking like he's going to be a great face of TNA for a pretty long time. All right, so then we saw backstage with Nick and Ryan Nemeth, Frankie Kazarian, and Santino Marella. Basically, Kazarian, I believe, was just talking mess. And Ryan Nemeth tells Kaz that they have unfinished business. Santino Marella walks up and confirms Nick Nemeth versus Mustafa Ali, Ryan Nemeth versus Frankie Kazarian for next week. So a lot of great Fallout show to be honest. Steve Macklin defeated Cody Deaner. Well, good for Steve Macklin. Then you saw AJ Francis get back in the winners column, defeating Sammy Callahan. And then we heard the latest from Rosemary. Rosemary, the latest cryptic goth style Vignette featuring Rosemary's Heir. She has the knife she was wielding at Slammiversary over the weekend. Once this wraps up, we head into another commercial break. And then you saw Hammerstone teaming up with Ash by Elegance, defeating Eric Young and Jordan Grace. And that was pretty big. That was, you saw Ash by Elegance inside TNA Slammiversary. I watched the match and she didn't just lie down. She wasn't your average ordinary because she's kind of like that, like that strapping, like kind of like that woman, kind of a little slender and bulky. I think Dana Brooke, Ash by Elegance. I think she was also a female bodybuilder. I could be wrong. I need to fact check that one. But yeah, honestly, I think probably one of her best. The person who could probably take down a TNA Knockouts World Champion Jordan Grace could probably be Ash by Elegance. She was this close. She was this damn close. Josh Alexander refuses to explain his actions after he screwed over Joe. I believe in Joe Hendry. Um, yeah, to be honest, then the Broken Matt Hardy and ABC defeated the system. The system's on a giant losing streak. Absolutely love it, 1,010%. Next week on TNA Impact, we see PCO, Stephanie Launder's wedding, Jody Threat taking on Masha Slamovich, Rosemary's in-ring return, Ryan Nemeth and Frankie Kazarian, and like I said, Nick Nemeth and Mustafa Ali. So, yeah, it should be pretty good. I'm actually excited for next week. It's going to be dope. Should be pretty badass. All right, guys. Now we're going to move on to our third segment. We're going to talk about Brock Lesnar. Sorry. Oh god, that hurt. I'm just kidding. Brock Lesnar's WWE return. A lot of speculations, a lot of stories. It was an absolute bombshell, on cage side seats inside the ropes and also ringside news. So we're going to talk about that as soon as we come back. So, hey, stay tuned.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
And we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern. Here to talk about all things professional wrestling, absolutely anything. We talk about Cody Rhodes. We talk about TNA. We talk about sometimes the NWA and MLW. Once when it gets crazy, I'm not going to, wrestling is on every day of the week. I do have a full-time job. I am a full-time husband and father. And I was a full-time student, but I actually graduated. It's so crazy. As soon as you graduate from college, you kind of, I don't know, it's kind of like, all right, what do I do with myself? Like, you know what I mean? So, obviously not jump off of diving boards and almost break your ankle is probably something you shouldn't do. 1010%. Take my word for it. So, it was crazy, guys. It was like a WWE botch. I wish I got some footage. I would have definitely shared it on the show. That would have been dope. Would have been awesome as hell. So, let's go and talk about that third segment about Brock Lesnar potentially coming back to the WWE. But before we get into any of that, I want to remind you guys to use the tips and donations link at the GSMCpodcast.net. Shoot me your comments, your opinions, your concerns, your wild conspiracy wrestling theories. I want to hear it all. It's nothing like a nice, like a nice sympathetic ear to hear about your guys' conspiracy theories and stuff like that. Remember, the link is at the GSMCpodcast.net. Don't be too shy. Anything obviously is greatly appreciated. The only thing I really care about is, getting your guys' feedback on the show, what I'm talking about. Obviously, if you want to talk about something as well, you guys are more than welcome to sure, absolutely anything. 1010%. So, once again, hit up the tips and donations link at the GSMCpodcast.net. So, we're going to talk about the reigning, defending, undisputed, universal. Well, he's not the champion anymore, but, absolutely loved it when he was with Paul Heyman. For something about Brock Lesnar, he wasn't, when he made his way back to WWE after just his reign of dominance, when he was younger, when he was absolutely killing it, of course, obviously he was on the cover of Smackdown. Here Comes the Pain, one of my favorite, video games on the PlayStation. Brock Lesnar, I kind of thought he was a boring champion, not because like every single time he fought somebody, he absolutely demolished them. Like, think about it. Like, AJ Styles put up a good fight. Surprisingly, you had Finn Balor put up a good fight. You had, obviously the people who basically whoever beats Brock Lesnar will be the new face of WWE. It's that prestigious. He's added so much prestige into his own name. Not, and screw that. Like into like a title reign. The Universal Championship, when it first started with Finn Balor, he of course he had to relinquish it because of his shoulder injury. Then after that, then you had the second Universal Champion, Kevin Owens. kind of like a screw you to Seth Rollins, because I remember watching that episode of Monday Night Raw where Seth Rollins thought Triple H was going to help him, ended up pedigreeing Seth Rollins in the middle of the ring, had Kevin Owens cover him. Bam, we have a new Universal Champion, Kevin Owens. Then, with the, Chris Jericho and, you know what? You just made the list. Like, it was cool. It was funny, 1,010%. But Kevin Owens, he never really won cleanly, never at all. He kept winning by interferences, cheating, kind of keeping a stronghold over that title. And it got to the point where like you kind of look at this funny red colored belt and you're like, is this like there was one point where I was like, all right, honestly, there's only the WWE Championship, because you had the Universal Champion, and then you had Bill Goldberg beat Kevin Owens in like freaking 2 seconds, and it was just like so like, oh god. So then Brock Lesnar comes around. Brock Lesnar, a two-time Universal Champion, had one reign for like 100 some days, had another reign that was 500 days, kind of holding that title to its ultimate value, showing that, okay, if you want it, you're going to have to come grab it. You're going to have to come out here, cut a really good promo. You're going to have to work for it. You're going to have to beat one of the best MMA fighters in the world, Brock Lesnar, a former UFC World Heavyweight Champion, a four-time WWE Champion. Brock Lesnar, that's something that he did for that title. I could, 1,010%. The Universal Championship is 1,010% prestigious. Became what it was. It as soon as Roman won it, it was really, really special. When Drew McIntyre won it, it was, I don't know, did he win it? I think he did. Or was Brock Lesnar WWE champion? Don't quote me on that. When Seth Rollins won, like it made it like not, I don't want to say stupid or dumb or anything like that. But Brock Lesnar, he basically brought the Universal Championship alive. Goldberg really didn't. I loved it when The Fiend had it, but The Fiend was screwed over in bookings thanks to WWE creative under Vince McMahon, where he lost to Bill Goldberg, which was absolute trash and garbage and one of the worst matches I've ever seen in my life. Um, but that's something that I always had a little bit of respect for Brock Lesnar for, to be brutally honest. But before that, I never really liked Brock Lesnar. Got to be honest. I was like, oh, this is, this big dumb guy. I'm just kidding. No, this dominant guy comes in, he kicks everybody's ass. I was like, I don't want to, like when you see someone step into the ring with Brock Lesnar, you just know they're gonna lose. Like even if they might have a slight advantage for like maybe like 10 seconds of the match, you see Brock Lesnar just like swat him down like a fly. F5, 1, 2, 3. And it's like there's a reason it happened. Brock Lesnar, um, one of the best professional wrestlers in WWE history, and in combat sports history. So definitely love that. So anyways, bro, we haven't seen Brock Lesnar. Last time he wrestled was at WWE SummerSlam 2023, where he lost to Cody Rhodes. Kind of like that, he was kind of like that first, building block that kind of built Cody's momentum. Cody Rhodes lost the WWE a shot at Roman Reigns' Universal Undisputed Championship at WrestleMania 39, thanks to Solo Sikoa. So this was kind of Cody Rhodes' momentum, just building back up, trying to build back up, being relevant in the sports entertainment industry, because they had this plan, they had this Cody story that was going to last 2 years, two back-to-back Royal Rumble winner, and obviously it was really, really good because of Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar, that the Monday Night Raw after WWE WrestleMania 39, you had Brock Lesnar, turn his back on Cody Rhodes, starting their feud. They fought back and forth and tormented each other back and forth for about 3 or 4 months, which, it helped buy some time. I gotta be honest. It helped buy, time. Then you had a ridiculous storyline with Shinsuke Nakamura and Cody Rhodes, and I was like, oh, really, dude? But no, like, and then I think after that, then you saw Brock come back. No, wait, no, then he didn't come back. Don't quote me on that. But Brock Lesnar, the one thing that he does best, to be honest, I think personally, the best thing about Brock Lesnar is his ability to bring just worthiness to a championship. He brings attention to a championship, positive championship. And I got a chat right here from my girl Anna Gonzalez. Hey, GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast. News: my brother's dog Oreo is passing away Tuesday. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully, all goes well. In doggy heaven for your dog Oreo passing away. My thoughts and prayers with your family. I know, you know, dogs are family members too as well. So, sometimes their death, not, shouldn't be taken lightly. So obviously a family member passing away. I'm sorry to hear that. So, more Brock Lesnar's news. Brock Lesnar was apparently, he was planned to return to the Royal Rumble in January. Obviously he was pulled from the event because of everything with the Janelle Grant allegations. Don't want to get too deep into that. Mail Sport asked Triple H about the potential Brock Lesnar return. Triple H had this to say, and I quote, you'd have to ask Brock. You'd have to ask Brock that, Brock kind of does his own thing. If he decides to come back, we are open to the conversation. So the ball is in Brock's court. Only time will tell when he decides to kind of warm back up to WWE. Obviously, this isn't the same Vince McMahon era. Brock Lesnar has been caught talking about, will he be part of any wrestling promotion if it wasn't run by Vince McMahon? He kind of said, hell no. So, obviously, Brock was kind of Vince's guy. Obviously, we kind of saw that, kind of tell. um, Also noted that Brock Lesnar was spending time with his family in Canada, attending hockey games. And, his daughter, I think his daughter's like a Olympic weightlifter, I believe. So I think that's definitely, kind of cool, 1,010%. He's a two-time Universal Champion, four-time WWE Champion. Um, um, how would the landscape look in WWE if Brock Lesnar returned? It would look absolutely insane, to be honest. Gunther wanted to face Brock Lesnar. He wanted him. He said, and I quote, Gunther said, "I always saw Brock Lesnar as my final boss." So, he was talking about being mostly known for the UK as a UK NXT kind of guy. But so, you have the ring general wanting to face Gunther. That would be pretty interesting. Um, Brock Lesnar could possibly be waiting for the Janelle Grant allegations to kind of blow over, which is kind of seemingly so. Like there was a point where WWE did ban Brock Lesnar's name from being brought up. You don't really want to go out with such negative publicity because you know fans could be brutal. Fans could be brutal. Obviously, it's a situation that's still ongoing right now with Vince McMahon, John Laurinaitis, and unfortunately, his name was actually brought into the mix as well. And it just kind of sucks. But once when you have a professional wrestler, not being able to do what he does, that pleases us the most is kind of go out there and do his thing. But so I think honestly, for his family and everything like that, for his wife, for his kids, kind of waiting for this thing to kind of blow over is probably the best thing to do, possibly do. But if he comes back, Paul Heyman is out. He comes back with Brock Lesnar to challenge Solo Sikoa. Solo Sikoa ultimately beats over Brock Lesnar, which would put Solo over 1,010%. I think if he beats Brock Lesnar, I think that would ultimately be like, all right, maybe this guy could hang with Roman Reigns or something like that. But Brock would kind of have to come in as a scapegoat. And I don't know if he's going to be just like, he comes back his first meeting and be like, all right, welcome back to the WWE. You're going to lose to this guy who's, one of the top 10 superstars with the with the with the most losses in their career as of July of 2024. So I don't know how he'll bite after that. Me personally, I'd be like, you know what, I'm good. I'm just kidding. No, absolutely not, because Brock Lesnar, when he's inside of a ring, you just notice him when you he's just someone that can't be ignored. Obviously, he's a pretty big dude that'll knock anybody's block off. But Brock Lesnar, 1,010%, I would love to see him back into the WWE. Absolutely warmed up to him. Would be pretty interesting to see what WWE would do with his character. And yeah, everything in between that. So I think that'd be pretty dope. All right, guys. So, hey, do not go anywhere. We're going to move on to our fourth segment. We're going to talk about some hot seat cool beans. Like I said before, is the stove hot under the superstar competing at Death Before Dishonor? Does this, is this match bigger than, bigger than what they expect, or is the stove cool? Is it cool beans if they win? Is it cool beans if they lose or draw? Whatever. It ultimately won't affect their status and their, creative development or anything like that. So we're going to dig into that as soon as we come back. So, hey, do not go anywhere.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
All right. And we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Just kind of reflecting what we talked about right quick. We talked about our WWE Smackdown preview, and then we also talked about some Ring of Honor. We also talked about TNA. Got into that as well. So without further ado, we're going to hop on into our hot seat cool beans. Always seems like I'm always pressed for time. I'm always rapidly running out of time. Got another chat for, hey, GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, RIP to WWE. Barry, Bray Wyatt. Also, Matthew Perry. Matthew Perry, that was pretty big when I found out. And of course, your brother's dog. Hopefully, all goes well. Thoughts and prayers with your family. Doggy heaven. It's a thing. I believe in that kind of stuff. I do believe all dogs go to heaven. You know what I mean? So yeah. All right. Just to kind of we're moving on to our hot seat cool beans. So let's go ahead and see if I can do this without messing it up. Hot seat cool beans.
And now, it's time.
All right, here we go. We're gonna start off with Atlantis Jr. Atlantis Jr., the Ring of Honor World Television Champion, dethroning the always hot Kyle Fletcher. To be honest, I think after the loss last night at Ring of Honor Club, I think right now it's hot. It's hot. You need that win, especially if it's the night before you're set to face, three of the competitors that were in that match. So, Atlantis Jr., he did defy the odds. He came out, smoking hot from the CMLL to dethrone Kyle Fletcher. So, Atlantis Jr., I think, the hot seat is pretty hot on his. So, 1,010%. I think it's great. I think he's great. There's a little cool side to it, to be honest, because he's a newly crowned champion. So I wouldn't be too shocked if they're like, okay, now, let's just kind of shift gears here. So I'd say Atlantis Jr. I got the hot seat. Brian Cage, my man Brian Cage of, Cage of Agony. I'm going to go ahead and, sorry. That was my mess up. Sorry. I'm going to go ahead and say that, it's what's going on, Mobius. There.
It's
I'm going to say it's cool. I'm going to say, honestly,
cool,
whatever
man.
happens, the Mobius this season, not really going to, nothing's really bad's going to happen if he wins or loses this match. To be honest, I have a chat from Crime Slayer. Yo, hope you're doing great, man. Hope you're having a great Friday. Hope you're setting it up for an amazing weekend. So, Brian Cage, of the Cage of Agony, he's obviously the leader. So there is a little bit of accountability. But for such like a big strapping guy, he's not as successful as like a lot of people. Usually big men in the professional wrestling industry don't really do as well as you think they would have. But right now, Brian Cage, I think it's pretty cool right now. I think it's 1,010% cool. All right, next we have Johnny TV. Johnny TV. It's been a while since I've seen Johnny TV kind of really do anything here. So I'm going to say sizzling. He left WWE because, once again, they were kind of doing crap with his creative thing with The Miz and everything like that. It just wasn't really good for him. Then he moved on to Ring of Honor. I thought he would probably be within the Ring of Honor TV champion or something along those lines in AEW. But, as of right now, he hasn't really accomplished much. And I think to kind of keep your name relevant within the professional wrestling industry, you got to win a title, man. Johnny TV, you got to win, dude. You got to kill it. Got to kill it, my friend. All right, next we have Dustin Rhodes. Dustin Rhodes, and I know most of you guys will
It's
probably disagree with my
sizzling.
take, but I think it's sizzling. I think it's sizzling 1,010%. He recently said he's gonna, when I come out and retire, I'm going to retire on my own terms. I don't care what, Tony Khan has to say. I don't care what the Ring of Honor, CMLL, AEW, like it doesn't matter. If you're going to go out and kind of state a claim like that, bro, you have to, I think you should leave on a good note. Dustin Rhodes, my man Gold Dust. But yeah, no, if you're gonna stake your claim like that, if you're gonna be like, everything's gonna be my way or the highway. But no, I think ultimately I think it's hot for him. Definitely, gotta have some accountability there. All right, so we have the Undisputed Kingdom. I'm gonna say
It's
sizzling here. I'm gonna say
sizzling.
the stove is hot. They were, kind of goading Tony Khan into finding a tag team to ultimately, dethrone them. They have Kyle O'Reilly now. They have Tomohiro Ishii, which is an amazing superstar in New Japan Professional Wrestling. Kyle O'Reilly, it would be interesting to see if Kyle O'Reilly feels a little tempted to join the Undisputed Kingdom after maybe Roderick Strong defeats Mark Briscoe, maybe if Mike Bennett and Matt Taven successfully retain their championships, that could also be a huge storyline for Kyle O'Reilly turning his back on the conglomeration. Of course, with if Mark Briscoe loses. Obviously, you have Tomohiro Ishii, his tag team partner. Could possibly Orange Cassidy's kind of they're kind of off doing his own thing right now. I think he was in San Diego and Comic Con. So 1,010%. I think it's sizzling. I think it's sizzling for the Undisputed Kingdom. Like I mentioned before, Kyle O'Reilly and Tomohiro Ishii. Much
It's
like the
sizzling.
much kind of like the Dustin Rhodes thing and the Johnny TV is that it's about time for Kyle O'Reilly to have a little bit of success in AEW. Ever since he made it back from his neck fusion surgery, he's won matches here and there, but never really anything big. I would say he's probably lost more than half of his matches. And the fans like him. I know I like him. He's very prominent on wrestling, like Twitter and social media and stuff like that. So definitely someone if you want to, possibly put the Ring of Honor World Television Champion on Kyle O'Reilly, it would be beneficial. I think it'd be pretty awesome. We're like a strong championship. Like you may never know. Or perhaps, like I said, maybe he does go back to the Undisputed Kingdom. Only time will tell. I honestly, obviously I would not want that. But it is what it is. It is what it is. All right, we have Wheeler Yuta. Wheeler Yuta, the Ring of Honor strong champion. You know what? I think it's cool right now. I don't
Oh,
think he really has
it's cool,
too much
man. It's
pressure
all
on
cool,
himself. Obviously,
man.
one of the members of the Blackpool Combat Club, but I don't really see a lot of pressure on him right now, especially with all the attention that Brian Danielson's getting in terms of like his neck injury and stuff like that. And then John Moxley is going to be out, so it's not really you can't really break this group up at this moment, to be honest. But I don't know, kind of crazy, but Wheeler Yuta, the Ring of Honor Strong Champion. I'm gonna say it's cool. I'm gonna say it's cool. Um, Lee Moriarty. Lee Moriarty.
It's
I'm gonna say it's sizzling as
sizzling.
well. He's taking on Wheeler Yuta tonight at Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor. He's a young rising star within the Ring of Honor, ladder and stuff like that. He needs to win. He needs to win. He's been around the professional wrestling industry for I don't want to say more than like 2 or 3 years, right? But or he was there over there longer than that. I could be totally mistaking him with somebody else. But I don't think that they're going to give the strong championship to him, to be honest, because really Yuta is just so he's just I don't know. He's just so I don't want to say down and dirty because that sounds bad. He's just so like rugged, like he's that rugged type, like he's gonna go out there and like give you all he got. It kind of reminds me of like a Brian Danielson, but obviously New Japan Professional Wrestling style. But no, this guy's Lee. He's a great superstar. He's an amazing superstar. So if he wants to go out there and make a name for himself, I think it is at Death Before Dishonor, which is happening tonight, or it already passed. I know it's actually 8:30. It's almost 9 o'clock, so it might have passed already. So, skipped over that one. Next, we have Red Velvet. Red Velvet, her and Queen Aminata stated that they're going to win the titles. So, when you go out there, you kind of put yourself in that position where you are trying to declare and predict victory. I'm sorry, but it's hot. You got to live up to that stat. You can't make empty promises, Red Velvet. Are you going to be the one to dethrone Billy Starks? Lord only knows. You have the in-ring capabilities, 1,010%. I think that this girl, she did go far in the Ring of Honor Women's Television Championship ladder tournament and stuff like that. So there's no doubt in my mind she could win. She could possibly win. Billy Starks, once again. I feel like every single one of these women, you have a hot stove, you have a sizzling stove under you to perform up to par, because essentially they've been probably some of the longest, like some of the faces in terms of, Ring of Honor and stuff like that. So, Billy Starks, I love Billy Starks. I think she's great with MIT, with Athena. But, is her time up? Lord only knows. But I'm going to say the fire under her right now is sizzling. Not Queen Aminata, Athena, the defending Ring of Honor World Women's Champion, had one of the longest reigns in professional wrestling title history. Athena, I think it's sizzling as well. She has this streak. I don't want to say it's like prestigious enough, and her getting injured is just an excuse. Her taking on someone like Queen Aminata, who very much could be a face of Ring of Honor professional wrestling for the women's division. But overall, like I said, I love Ember Moon. I love Athena. I think she's going to be great. The fire is hot. It's sizzling. So only time will tell, obviously, tonight. Can't wait to find out. Queen Aminata, once again, like I said, all these 4 women, it's hot. It's sizzling. She needs to win right now. Absolutely. If she loses tonight, then she goes all the way back down to the ladder. Her and Red Velvet, throughout the past couple of months, have built up so much momentum, has built up so much progress toward these titles, that if they lose, it's not going to look good. It's not going to look good. So 1,010%, I think, it's sizzling for her. Something's got to give. Something's got to give. All right, and Roderick Strong, after kind of tormenting, Mark Briscoe at Ring of Honor last night, it's sizzling. It's sizzling. Something that I kind of mentioned before, how the Undisputed Kingdom is more prominent, is more prestigious when the leader of the group is holding a main card, title, like the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship. Obviously, no sign of Adam Cole just yet. Last time you saw Adam Cole was at AEW Double or Nothing to kind of help usher in MJF's return. So, Roderick Strong, he's been within the professional wrestling industry forever, I feel like. Obviously part of the Undisputed Era in WWE NXT. Absolutely love that. But no, it's sizzling. It's sizzling. Like he's got to go out there and show why he's the leader. He's got to go out there and show that just because Adam Cole's not there doesn't necessarily mean the Undisputed Kingdom is going to be weak. All right, Mark Briscoe, the final one. Oh God, I'm gonna say
it's sizzling.
It's sizzling right now. Most importantly, because he competed in AEW Blood and Guts. He was part of Team AEW, obviously picking up the victory, getting some momentum. But dude, like that match put a lot of wear and tear on your body. And if you're going to be all cocky like that, like, oh, I can compete like this, and then 2 days later fight for my Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship, you got to go out there and show, man, that you can back your stuff up. I'm afraid that he's going to lose the title. I would hate it because he's one of my favorite Ring of Honor superstars. But, honestly, it's not looking good. So, to prove all the naysayers wrong, it has to be sizzling. All right, so that was my 4th segment. Now we're going to get into my 5th and final segment, running out of time rapidly here. We're going to hit on my Wrestling News Roundup. We hit it every Friday. We talk about professional wrestling news all around the wrestling industry. So we're going to dig on into that when we come back. All right, and we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Just kind of reflect on what we talked about. We had our WWE Smackdown preview. We also talked about my Thursday Night Wrestling review, stepping into the world of Ring of Honor and the Ring of TNA Impact. We also talked about Brock Lesnar potentially coming back to the WWE. The ball is in his court. Then we had Hot Seat Cool Beans. All the participants tonight participating in Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor. I would say most of them were sizzling. I got to be honest. Most of them, I think Death Before Dishonor is a huge pay-per-view in terms of Ring of Honor. So, obviously something's got to give. It's a perfect start to ultimately, kind of start fresh, kind of start over, with new champions, kind of having your show kind of directed into a different, in a different passageway and stuff like that. So, yeah. Now we're going to talk about Wrestling News Roundup. So without further ado, let's talk about it. So Blair Davenport and Riley Osborne tie the knot. Riley Osborne, why does that guy sound familiar? Is that the guy from Chase U? I think it is. And Blair Davenport is I think she's Australian, I believe she is. Blair Davenport's definitely, automatically she's already left like a huge imprint on the WWE Smackdown Women's Division, attacking Naomi. That fake handshake, then attacking her from behind was classic heel, classic awesome heel. Right now, I don't really feel like the WWE Women's Division really has that. So I think ultimately, it's pretty badass. But I don't know. Hey, congratulations. Obviously, getting married is a, pretty big milestone in your life. Next, we have Soraya issues a warning about fake accounts impersonating her. Why do people impersonate people? That's always been the crazy. Like, why do people create fake accounts, burner accounts? Why do people pretend to be someone that they're not? Like, there's so many. Like, oh, it's crazy. Like, whenever I'm on Twitter and I'm commenting or I'm posting something, and I just want to tag someone. I try to tag like someone, for example, and it's mostly girls. I think it's mostly women, which, kind of sucks. Feel bad for y'all. But I think I was talking about NXT Heat Wave, and I think I was trying to tag the Roxanne Perez thing or whatever. And then you saw like 5 or 6 accounts pop up. And I think one of them actually friend requested me, and I'm like, girl or boy, I'm just kidding. You are not Roxanne Perez. I'm sorry. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. 1,010%. So, definitely, kind of crazy. So, just the moral of the story is do not create fake accounts. Be yourself. You're amazing just the way you are. So don't be afraid to show your light. All right, moving on. Joe Henry hints at his next NXT appearance. Obviously, you see, he's going to perform next week on WWE NXT Great American Bash. So Joe Henry, he's living up to his hype. I feel like he's not, obviously, heart through, through and through, he is a TNA Impact superstar. But I think WWE likes him. I feel like WWE they definitely see a future, using him in terms of his talent, his potential, his in-ring skills, his mic skills. I feel like Joe Henry's definitely he's a catch. He's one of the best. I think even before this started happening, I was like, dude, this guy looks like a WWE superstar. It's crazy. And that doesn't necessarily mean I'm, trying to diminish any other value. Like, being a WWE superstar, doesn't necessarily make you better than like someone from TNA, New Japan Professional Wrestling, MLW, Stardom, et cetera, et cetera. So, I just love the way that they're booking Joe Henry. Love that he's on, NXT. It's just pretty badass. Pretty badass. All right, so Beth Phoenix parts ways with the WWE. Obviously, no surprise there. You had Adam Copeland. Ultimately, he did get injured recently at Double or Nothing, that cage match with Malachi Black. Malachi Black? Yeah, no, it wasn't Forbidden Door. I think it was a Double or Nothing. So, honestly, love 1,010%. I love how she's sticking by her husband. Not saying that WWE did Adam Copeland bad or Edge wrong in any way, shape, or form, but he's kind of nearing toward the end of his his career and heading toward his retirement. So it's not, oh my God, I'm saying the end of the relationship. I'm not trying to down their relationship, guys. I apologize. But no, Adam Copeland mostly left to AEW because the way you kind of see him being portrayed within WWE, he started the Judgment Day, then that ultimately kind of faltered when he was kicked out, and he didn't want to keep running that same promo where he was like this, feel sorry for me kind of guy. He wanted to go to a place where he could ultimately be the rated R superstar. And also the point where when he was on Monday Night Raw without being on Judgment Day, how much of Adam Copeland's potential or Edge's potential, especially near the end of your career, how much can you actually use that? How much could you actually showcase? So I think the move to AEW is 1,010% was the right move. And obviously, Beth Phoenix leaving the WWE, not necessarily, through like turmoil or not like not like the departure is uncomfortable or anything like that at all. I think just sometimes it's good to part ways, like, what I mean, beneficial. Or Beth Phoenix, maybe she debuts in AEW. That would be pretty crazy. That'd be pretty crazy. Tony Khan did actually say this was the best run in Adam Copeland's career, which, obviously speculations and allegations, and his opinion 1,010%. You can't really ignore that, the tag team revolution that him, the Hardy Boys, and the Dudley Boys did in the early 2000s with the TLC matches and stuff like that. So, 1,010%, I respect Tony Khan. I think he's an amazing owner. I think he's an amazing person. But yeah, honestly, kind of crazy. So we have The Undertaker expresses regret over never meeting Mustafa Ali. Mustafa Ali is, Muhammad Ali is one of the greatest, if not the greatest boxer in all time. I really don't see why, I know no, who won the belt? No, didn't The Rock win the Muhammad Ali belt when he was recently being inducted into the Hall of Fame? I think he did. I think, and then like The Rock was carrying that belt like crazy, and he told Cody Rhodes, he's like, "Let me grab yours if I can grab." I'm just kidding. No, totally uncomfortable. I'm sorry. Excuse me. It's a Friday night. It's Friday night. No, but The Undertaker, obviously one of the biggest superstars within the WWE. A lot of people kind of compare his striking abilities, the way he was just so prominent, kind of like the Muhammad Ali of professional wrestling. Like I said, those words, not mine. I don't think there's really any fallacy or any fallacious thinking in terms of kind of thinking that way. But The Undertaker, obviously, Mr. WrestleMania, he had the streak. He didn't necessarily really have the championship kind of all of those are the accomplishments and stuff like that. So, just to kind of reiterate, The Undertaker expresses regret never meeting Muhammad Ali, which, I would regret not meeting Muhammad Ali as well. That would be so crazy. It would have been awesome. I would have took like 1,000 pictures with my man, the greatest boxer of all time, Muhammad Ali. I called him Mustafa Ali. What a loser. That's crazy. All right, moving on. So we have Eric Bischoff reacts to Mercedes Moné, bragging that AEW Dynamite will surpass WCW's Nitro. Totally, I don't think that's part of, I don't think that AEW will ever be WCW and vice versa. It's this comparison. It's this ultimate comparison that the two companies have constantly that is ultimately kind of, keep shooting, the creative ability of Tony Khan and his wrestling promotion down. I think that 1,010%. I think Eric Bischoff is a little adamant in terms of that. Vince Russo as well. But I believe that, Mercedes Moné, and I think if you're at this moment, if you have the chance, okay, now they're at the 250th episode. Obviously, WCW Nitro never really made it to that prestige. And it has nothing to do with, trying to compare apples to oranges here. Not trying to say AEW and WCW. I feel like what clouds the minds of most of the haters out there of AEW feel like that, they're just a knockoff of WCW just because they're on the Turner Broadcasting Network. That, I don't think that whatsoever. I don't think that at all. I feel like both the companies had unique distinctions. Obviously, both of them at one time. Well, you still have AEW right now. You still have AEW still killing it. WCW. It would have been awesome if it did work out. Would have been totally awesome if the two brands did work. But you got to think about it. When WCW was happening, you didn't have technology. You didn't have cell phones. You didn't have streaming services. You also didn't have your, get Fubo TV or get Roku TV where you can just watch a couple of channels. No, back in the day, you had to pay for cable. And cable was expensive. Cable was, I didn't grow up with cable or anything like like that. I heard about what happened on Nitro, like through a couple of friends and stuff like that. And eventually we did get cable, and I did start watching Nitro and, Thursday Night Thunder. But, it's a whole different time. It's a whole different world. Kind of like, when you talk about LeBron James and Michael Jordan, who's the GOAT, you can't really have that conversation. Be a little fun sometimes. It might be, it's thought provocative, but I don't know. Overall, I just don't see it. Different times, different times. Now in the NBA, you have a lot of fast-paced three-point shooters. You basically the center's position and power forward position, and then you have like you actually had to fight for points inside the paint, in terms of, Michael Jordan. Sometimes, the fouls were a little bit more loosely called. So, kind of crazy, but I don't know. Next, we have Almost. Almost seemingly reacts to the rumors of WWE giving up on him. Kind of sucks, but it's sad but true. Sad but true. The bigger superstars within the WWE never really have made success in terms of professional wrestling, like the Big Show, like who's the other guy? Oh my God, I was thinking about the Great Khali. Like these guys are like, man, these guys are gonna win like freaking these guys are gonna win like championships like crazy because they're so damn huge. So, but overall, I feel like it's kind of hard, it's kind of great, but at the same time, like somebody once told me, Braun Strowman, like you kind of saw what happened to Luke Harper and Eric Rowan once when the Wyatt family kind of disbanded. You kind of had these bigger guys, like you have Otis now with the WWE. You had Keith Lee when he made it to the main roster in WWE. You can't really do too much with these guys. 1,010%. So I don't know, kind of crazy, kind of crazy. All right, next breaking news, we have Rhonda Rousey announces her second child, and she also announced the gender, revealing her pregnancy. I guess it's another girl. Congratulations to Rhonda Rousey. She also did say that she's still open to a WWE return, obviously with, Triple H still kind of being over, being in charge and, so to speak. So, I don't know. It's, kind of crazy, kind of crazy. Next, we have Buddy Matthews tried to leave AEW before securing a new lucrative deal. You haven't really seen House of Black on AEW recently. Obviously, a lot of people contemplating on, what happened to them. I know, I didn't see them on there a couple of times, and I was like, you know what? I don't really know how Buddy Matthews would feel going back to the WWE. I know he's married to Rhea Ripley. I wonder how he felt about her licking Dominic Mysterio's face. Uh, no, and then also Malachi Black, who is also married to Zelina Vega. So, just all the wrestling promotions are, just kind of mixed together right now. Would be so awesome to see, great things happen. Maybe they, ended up having a little mesh. I know there was, I talked about it on Wednesday, how Tony Khan was open to, a mixed match or, a mixed pay-per-view with WWE and AEW. It would be sick. Ultimately be sick as hell. And Hannah Cinnamon, that was pretty funny. That was, got to be honest. Can't really say it on air because, the language and stuff like that. But no, that made me laugh. That made me laugh. Kind of threw me off a little bit, to be honest. Thank you so much for tuning in to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern time, here to talk about all things professional wrestling. So make sure you leave a kind remark here at the GSMC Sports Network. We do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity 1,010% of the time. Also, remember to Superman punch that like a subscribe button to the show. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter/X, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook for more content and updates. And like I always say, if I haven't made you a wrestling fan by now, we got college football around the corner with my boy Tommy. We have 2 football podcasts, one GSMC football podcast with Kenneth, one Chip Shot football podcast with my boy Manny. We also have a basketball podcast with Nelson. We have fantasy sports with Chris Shepard. We also have the Andrew Tate show. So make sure you check out all those shows. We also have, sports shows. We have Sports by GSMC Sports Network with Jeremy. We also have, GSMC Sports with my man TJ. So make sure you go ahead and check all those podcasts out. Be a part of this podcasting bloodline of a family. Be a part of our bloodline. We're going to love you automatically, it's free, 1,010% free. You don't have to pay for any subscriptions. So, make sure you, tune into our shows. It's pretty awesome. Well, guys, that's it for me. It is Friday. Have a beautiful, have a safe, have an amazing, have a fun weekend. Be safe. See you all back here on Monday.
Mm-hmm. 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 Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's